Alright guys, so today we're going to check out the brand new Skullcandy Indy EVO. Now this is a pair that comes in at $80 and it's an upgraded version to the original Skullcandy Indies. So we're going to check out and see what some of those upgrades are and if it's worth the price. Now as you can see here, I have a very interesting color that kind of looks like it glows in the dark, and these are available in 5 different colors as of right now. Now one of the huge upgrades is they now have tile integration, so you can just download the Tile app and register your Skullcandy earbuds, and it basically helps you locate them wherever they are just with GPS tracking. Now these also have Bluetooth 5.0, and I felt like they had a very solid connection, and I didn't experience any lag with videos and movies, so it's really nice to be able to use for different types of media. Now as far as the IP rating, they come in rated at IP55, so that's a pair that you can go out. If you sweat heavily, you're going to be fine, or if it rains, you're going to be okay. Just make sure that you do not submerge these into water. Now as far as what you're getting inside the box, you are getting the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. And another difference between these and the original is they now have what they include, the stability ear gels, which basically is kind of like an ear fin that sticks up a little higher. And what that does is it keeps it a lot more secure in your ear than the original, so there's a lot less chance of these falling out. Now as far as the charging cable, I'm happy to say that they've included a USB-C cable. And speaking of the charging cable, the battery life is another huge improvement on these over the original. Because now on the earbuds individually, you can get around 6 hours of battery life with around 30 hours total using the case. Where on the originals, you could only get 4 hours on the earbuds individually, and you only got 16 hours using the case. So that is a very nice boost in the battery. And another huge plus is you have the fast charge feature, where basically if you pick these up and they're dead, a quick 10-minute charge will get you 2 hours worth of use. Now moving over to looking at the case, I actually really like the look of this case. It reminds me of like a tiny little Yeti cooler. You can see on the bottom you have your USB-C input for charging, and then you have 4 indicator lights on the front to kind of gauge how much battery life is left on the case. Now when you open up the lid, you can see that the earbuds actually have the AirPod style design that has the stem. Now some people either love or hate this type of design. I'm not the biggest fan of it, so it kind of just comes down to your personal preference. But these do utilize touch controls, and I'm happy to say that they control everything. So you have your play, pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, you have volume control. And then another bonus with this model is you actually have a control over 3 different EQ modes that they've built into here. You have a music mode, a podcast mode, and a movie mode. And I'll go ahead and tell you right now, the movie mode is what saves these earbuds. It changed the sound completely and made these a lot better than the original. Now another feature that these have is they also give you the ability to control ambient mode. And so instead of having to take your earbuds out, you can switch these over into ambient mode and then hear all of your surroundings. So I can tell you now that's really handy. Instead of just pulling your earbuds out and standing there holding them, you can simply just touch them and it will pull in all of your surroundings and you can hear everything very clear. Now another big upgrade in these for you guys that like to use your earbuds individually is now you can use either the left or the right by themselves. And as far as the mics go on here, I think they're doing a decent job. It's not anything that's going to blow anybody away, but you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. Alright guys, so here is a mic test using the Skullcandy Indy EVOs. Again, I think it does an okay job. It's not anything special, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played in the background, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. This is one thing that the Skullcandy lineup has never been like overly impressive with the truly wireless earbuds. And I will say with the Sesh Evo, I was very impressed once switching them into movie mode. It just brought out a lot more bass, but it still kept things very clear. And it kind of does the same thing here with the Indies. But one thing I did notice with the Indies, if you're listening to music that has a lot of stuff going on, especially like metal, rock type music, it can seem to get congested and muddy. Now that was something that I didn't experience with the Sesh, but for some reason the Indies can't seem to handle chaotic genres of music. Now when it comes to pop or hip hop or even easy listening or something that's just vocal driven, it handles that just fine. But if you're like me and you listen to just a lot of genres in general, it seems that it excels in some and then it just falls flat in some. So this is not one of those just one type of earbud to handle everything. The bass on them definitely has impact and it's really nice and punchy, but it's the bass that just rolls over and just takes over in certain genres. Now the mids come through extremely fine. They're not as forward as some of the other earbuds. Feels like the vocalist is just kind of sitting back a little bit. So I really would have liked to have seen maybe a slight boost in the mids. And then when it comes to the treble, I felt like they didn't get bright enough. And that's mainly because that bass could have that overly boomy, warm feel to it. And so sometimes it just felt like the treble was lacking just a little bit. Now when it comes to the soundstage and sound imaging, these are not very open sounding. They sound more like you're in a medium-sized room, and that's mainly because of that overly boomy bass. It just feels like it's pulling and closing things in a little bit more. But when it comes to the sound details, as long as you're listening to a genre that doesn't have a lot going on, you can definitely tell where everything's coming from. But where it seems to fall flat again is when you're listening to music where a lot's going on. It definitely just seems like it doesn't know how to handle it. So outside of that, my cons with these is I definitely feel like it can't handle all genres of music, and I feel like for the price, the $80 price tag is putting it up against a lot of other really good truly wireless earbuds. I have done a top 10 list of earbuds under $100, and I would easily pick any of those over these just because they can handle all types of music. But guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.